All to play for tonight at Estadio Universitario in Peronomé, Panama, as Tauro hosts Motagua in leg number 2 of their quarterfinal tie here in the 2022 Scotiabank Concacaf League. Joe Malfa here with you for tonight's action. These teams were deadlocked last week in Honduras, and Tauro were the beneficiaries of a missed Motagua penalty in the 85th minute. That could come back to haunt the visitors tonight as this gets into Panama now. Crowd filing in, 76 degrees, a chance of rain as the evening goes along. These two teams have some familiarity in this tournament historically. You go back to 2018 semifinal. Tauro at home won the first leg 2-1, but then went on the road to Honduras and lost 2-0. And of course, it was Motagua going through to the final. Now at stake this time, a spot in the semifinal instead of a spot in the final. It'll be the winner of Olympia and Dirianhen who meets the winner of Tauro and Motagua. With the 0-0 scoreline from last week, a similar result would send us to penalties. Any other tie would send Motagua through. And of course, any victory for either side would send that team through to the semifinal. More than just a spot in the semifinal at stake, also entry into the 2023 CONCACAF Champions League. All 4 semifinalists will make the tournament, as well as the next 2 best finishers. So right now, if you take a look at the standings here in CONCACAF League, Tauro occupy 6th place. So even if they don't get through to the semifinal and get that automatic ticket into Champions League, there is still a chance, pending other results, that they could get through to Champions League as a pretty nice consolation prize if they're going forward into the semifinal of this tournament. Motagua qualified directly into the round of 16 as the 2022 Clausura champions in Honduras, and then they made easy work of Cibao, 3-0 in aggregate to get here to the quarterfinal. Tauro, on the other hand, also into the round of 16, much more difficult in the round of 16. Squeaked by San Miguelito, and now looking to return to just a second ever semifinal here in this tournament. Motagua was the team standing in their way when they last made a semifinal, and now they're the team standing in their way from getting to another semifinal. The fans are just about ready, and the teams will be taking the field shortly here at Estadio Universitario. It's Tauro and Motagua coming up next here in the second leg of their quarterfinal tie in the 2022 Scotiabank Concacaf League. Teams are ready to get things going here in Panama. We'll meet the starting lineups for both clubs, beginning with the home side, Tauro FC. They are backstopped by Eric Hughes in goal. He has started all 3 of their Scotiabank Concacaf League matches so far this year. And in those 3 matches, he has allowed just 1 goal with 2 clean sheets. He's got 9 career appearances in this tournament. 4 of them have been clean sheets. A very dependable goalkeeper. And then going further up the field, Ernesto Sinclair did not play in the first leg. He was a sub in their first leg of the round of 16 against San Miguelito, scored the goal in their 1-0 win. He has 2 goals in his 10 career CONCACAF League appearances. Watch out for Sinclair if there is going to be a moment of magic offensively tonight for Tauro. Clubs pose for their starting 11 photos. We'll meet the referees as well. Jose Torres of Puerto Rico is in charge of this crew. Henry Pupito of Nicaragua, and Manuel Sola of Puerto Rico are your assistant referees. And the 4th official is David Gomez of Costa Rica. On the other side for Motagua, a very experienced lineup as the captains meet now for the coin toss. Marcelo Pereira of Motagua, Orlando Botello of Tauro. Marcelo Pereira, the 27-year-old, will play center back for Motagua. Went 90 in the first leg, and both of their round of 16 matchups dependable in the middle of that back line. This is his 24th CONCACAF League appearance tonight, Marcelo Pereira, part of those Motagua teams that made their multiple runs to finals in this tournament. So many of the players, as a result of that, have dozens of matches under their belt here in this tournament. The runners-up 3 times in 2018, 19, and 2021, but never the champions, Motagua. Could this be the year, in the final year of this tournament's existence? If that is going to be the case, they have to get through a difficult test tonight. They had the first leg at home. When you've got that first leg at home, you want to win, of course, and you want to bag as many goals as you can, go on the road with a cushion. They did the opposite. A 0-0 tie at home, now going on the road. In some peril here, Motagua. And Tauro pull it off. Advance to the semifinal for just their 2nd time ever. They attack from left to right in the black and white. Motagua from right to left in the blue. And we're underway in leg number 2 of the quarterfinal between Motagua and Tauro. Here at Estadio Universitario in Panama. These teams met previously in the 2018 edition of this tournament in the semifinal. Tauro had the first leg at home on that occasion. They won that first leg 2-1. They went on the road to Motagua the following week. They lost 2-0, and they were eliminated 3-2 on aggregate. Motagua made it through to their first final, and Tauro was sent home. This is now a 4th appearance in CONCACAF League for Tauro. Have still never made it beyond that 2018 semifinal. Still their best result. They can equal that with a victory here tonight, and then hope to turn that into an appearance in the final. If Tauro are to find a way through, it would sort of go against the grain of their recent run of form domestically. 9 matches into their current Clausura phase, 3 wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses. So it's been a bit of a stumble out of the gates. Right now they're sitting 5 points out of the top spots. Sent in from the wing, skimmed along. Juan Delgado finds it on the opposite side. Motagua in the blue from right to left. Hector Castellanos with it. Delgado with it again. The 30-year-old making his first appearance in this year's edition of CONCACAF League, Juan Delgado. 8 appearances, 7 of those starts last year. Taken away centrally by Martinez. Back for Castellanos. Now Martinez once more. Martinez goes for goal. And out for a goal kick. When these teams met last week, it was a rather one-sided affair in terms of the statistics as we take a look at the first shot of the match here. 17 shots to 2 in favor of Motagua last week. And they had 65% of the possession. Tauro held on tight. The beneficiaries of the missed penalty by Angel Tejada in the 83rd minute. That could have given Motagua the 1-0 win. Instead, it finished scoreless, and it gave Tauro life coming into tonight in the home leg, in the second leg. Sinclair. Castellanos. Miguel Camargo, slow to get up. Like he might have had his right foot stepped on. Back to his feet now. 29-year-old from Panama started the first leg, played 77 minutes. Started both of their round of 16 matchups as well. Just signed with Tauro in July. And returned to Panama after he spent some time in Colombia and Venezuela. Previous stint in Panama came with Universitario in 2019. Also some time in Major League Soccer with NYCFC in 2018. Camargo looks to be moving okay centrally for Tauro, as Motagua once again takes charge of the possession, as was the case last week. Motagua, their domestic form is impeccable. 6 straight wins in league play. Undefeated through 9 matches of the Apertura phase, 7 wins, 2 draws in first place on 23 points. And they're outscoring opponents 13-5 in their active 6-match winning streak. They're unbeaten in their last 12 in all competitions, going all the way back to May 29th. They lost the second leg of their Clausura playoff against Real España, but still won the title on aggregate. It's that victory that put them directly into this round of 16 as the Clausura champions. Motagua was in flux early spring. 5 straight losses from March 6th to April 6th. Since that 5-game losing skid for Motagua, 16 wins, 6 draws, and 1 loss. They've been outstanding over the last few months in all competitions. Well read and intercepted by Godinho. Cunningham. A goalless draw would send us to penalties tonight. Any other tied scoreline would send Motagua through on away goals. And of course, if either side wins, that side goes through. Whipped in from out wide. Not a bad delivery by Rodriguez. Nothing Hernandez could do about it, however. Now taken from a distance, but just wide by Walter Martinez. That's twice now he's let it fly from distance. This one took a deflection, and it's out for a corner. That man has both of their shots. That one didn't miss by much. Deflection and all. First opportunity from a set piece. Taken short, here's Delgado. Driven ball in now. Chested on the far side by Godinho. Battling to get it away and shielded out for another corner. This one will be taken by Martinez, who started this whole flurry. Motagua supporters looking on from behind the goal. Dealt with by Tauro. Here's Camargo. Full head of steam, looking for his partner up top, Sinclair. Well read and intercepted by Decas. Motagua has accrued 7 points through their first 3 matches, round of 16 and quarterfinal. So they are likely in a good spot to punch a ticket through the CONCACAF Champions League in 2023 regardless. Tauro right now in 6th place. That would be the final of the spots into Champions League, but it would be in a precarious position with anything but a win tonight. Dirianhen sit on 4 points, Herediano on 3, Tauro above them both on 5. So a draw would keep both Herediano and Dirianhen within striking distance. Driven ball in, headed on sharply but wide by Eddie Hernandez. Another good ball from out wide by Diego Rodriguez. Eddie Hernandez, the 31-year-old, used as a sub in the final 20 minutes of the first leg. He's got 3 goals and 7 career CONCACAF League appearances. This is a 4th stint at Motagua for Hernandez, signed in July. 10 teams in 7 countries in his career, most of that time spent in Honduras. Approaching 100 domestic appearances in Honduras with 38 goals. Has played for Motagua, Vida, Platense, and Olimpia. Here's Gutierrez. Now back the other way for Motagua. Good tackle put in by Vargas. And he got the deflection as well. Perfectly done defensively from Vargas. Godinho gets it back off the ricochet. Sergio Cunningham. Did not play in the first leg, Cunningham. Used late as a sub in both legs of the round of 16. Gutierrez gets it back into play. Now Cunningham with support out wide from Asprilla. Cunningham lost it. Won by Castellanos. Martinez finds it in space. Sloppy through the middle. But now it's Godinho looking long for Valencia. Omar Valencia. 10 minutes of come and gone. We're scoreless at Estadio Universitario here in Panama. Joe Malfa with you for tonight's action. Second leg of the quarterfinal tie between Tauro and Motagua. A scoreless first leg put us in a very interesting position tonight. Motagua historically have been terrific in this tournament. 3 times they've made the final. All 3 times they lost, but 3 times they've been there. Only 3-time finalists. Whipped in from the corner, headed on, and knocked away. Tauro have never been beyond a semifinal, but they have been to one, looking to make it to another. It was Motagua who eliminated them from their first ever semifinal back in 2018. So 4 years later, on their home field tonight, Tauro looking for some revenge. And they beat Motagua 2-1 on this home field 4 years ago. The hero that night was Edwin Aguiar, 37 years of age now. He sits on the bench tonight. We could see him later on. He scored a brace in that home game, that 2-1 win in the first leg of the 2018 semifinal. Cunningham whips it in, looking for Valencia. Cunningham again, right at Rougier. 34-year-old goalkeeper from Argentina, making his 30th appearance in CONCACAF League for Motagua. 15 of his 29 appearances in this tournament have been clean sheets. That is 52%. They can count on him on one end. Tauro very confident in Eric Hughes at the other end. Asprilla. Along for Boteo. Back for Asprilla. Well done on the tackle centrally. But given right away by Tauro. Not much trouble there for Rougier. Has made over 200 appearances for Motagua since joining the club in 2017. He's only made 2 appearances in 9 matches, however, in the current Apertura phase. Space was taken by Raul Santos. But the advance bears no fruit for Motagua. Back the other way for Tauro. Back and forth they've gone without any real danger materializing for either side. 3 shots all belong to Motagua so far. Here's Valencia up the left wing. Valencia centers it. The shot is just wide. Ernesto Sinclair had it fall for him perfectly. Took it with the left foot confidently. Might have had Rougier beaten. The goalkeeper flat-footed, watched it, hoped it would go wide, and it did. This is Sinclair's 5th team that he's played for in Panama since 2017. Just signed back in January. Only has 2 goals in 21 appearances with Tauro. One of those 2 goals came in that 1-0 win in the first leg against San Miguelito in the round of 16. Jose Torres wants a word with Luis Asprilla. Put back into play by Motagua quickly. Motagua has been in control of the ball for the first 15 minutes with some dominance, nearly 70% of the possession. It mimics what we saw last week. And 64% of the possession on their home field in leg number 1. And that night they weren't able to do anything with it. A scoreless draw, 17 shots. Their best chance, a penalty, 84th minute, clanked off the post. And it finished scoreless. If we finish scoreless again tonight, we can go directly to kicks from the mark. Foul was called here against Castellanos. Misplay at the back by Santos. Opens the door here for Valencia. Tauro surging forward, stop made by Rougier. It was Miguel Camargo who had the chance. As the night goes on, will he regret not finishing that one off the Motagua mistake? It's building now for Tauro. Another slip at the back for Motagua. Opens the door for Cunningham. Ball in from Cunningham is cleared. Marcelo Pereira, the captain, knocks it away. Looked like Wesley Decas just lost his footing on the surface. As he turned to face that ball, he went back down now on his own volition after the ball was cleared out. Corner taken at the back post. Who's it off of last? Answer is Cunningham. Rosefort with Delgado. Off of Camargo's service. And Cunningham just mishit it. Decas still working out that left leg, bottom right of your picture, just barely in the frame. Keep an eye on that as the match goes along. The speed wins it for Motagua. Gustavo Chara just lost it. Ivan Lopez made life very difficult for the moment, and he earned a corner out of it. Juan Delgado will deliver. Delgado, not a bad ball. Dropped it top of the 6. Rodriguez lays it off for Martinez, his third try from a distance. All three have been off target. One was deflected out for a corner, but not this time. Didn't catch it clean. Space was quickly closed down by Camargo. Perhaps not the best decision for the 31-year-old. Has 6 caps with Honduras under his belt as well. Nearing 200 appearances for Motagua since he joined in 2017. 20 minutes have come and gone. We're still scoreless as we were through 90 last week in the first leg. Will there be something to separate these teams over the next 70 minutes, or will we be headed to penalties here in the quarterfinal? Joe Malfa with you for tonight's action from Estadio Universitario in Panama. And now a break in the action as Jose Torres goes over to have a look at Walter Martinez down on the ground. Tauro, a relatively young club here in CONCACAF. More often than not, with a few exceptions, we're so used to seeing teams with histories of 70, 80, some even up to 100 years here in CONCACAF. Motagua fits that bill, a 94-year-old club. Tauro founded just in 1984, but they've recently become a dominant force in Panama. 16 league titles, 10 of those have come since 2000. Never made it beyond a semifinal in CONCACAF competition. Came in this tournament in 2018. This group has struggled a bit in domestic play of late. 3 wins, 2 draws, 4 losses through their first 9 matches of the Clausura phase. Opened winless in their first 4, with 3 of those 4 being losses. So to be fair, the corner might have been turned. They're 3-1-1 in their last 5 matchups. But still a slow start out of the gates for a team that has had a lot of recent success. 2021 Clausura champions in Panama. Cunningham taken down hard. Daniel Maldonado, the recipient, it appears, of the first card of the evening. Once it comes out of the pocket, it's not going back in. Maldonado walks away, but he still receives it. '24-year-old played 90 in the first leg. appeared in both matchups in the round of 16 against Cibao. Only started one of those. Tonight making his 19th appearance in CONCACAF League. And again, that's so common to hear for these players out there from Motagua, given all of their deep runs in this tournament. 3 times the runners-up. Nearly everybody on the roster in the double figures in terms of appearances in this tournament. It would be a bit poetic if Motagua could go on to win this thing in the final year of its existence before we go to that expanded Champions League for the upcoming year. And come so close, only to be knocked back on each occasion. In 2018, for Motagua, it was a 3-2 loss to Herediano in the final. 2019, a 1-0 loss to Saprissa. Last year, 6-3 on aggregate to Comunicaciones. Only 2 teams in this tournament's history since 2017 have made multiple finals. Saprissa have been the 2, a 1-1 record in terms of lifting a trophy or ending up as the runners-up. Motagua have been to 3, have lost 3. Rodriguez sends it in. No trouble for Hughes. On the turn, Hernandez thought about it, now slips the pass through. Lopez cuts it back. Rodriguez flares it back post toward Hernandez again and headed away by Gutierrez out for a corner. Nervy moment at the back for Tauro. Good build up from Motagua, yields yet another corner. Now shooting Tauro 5-2 at the moment. This is now their 4th corner of the match. Driven ball over, Hernandez is headed, deflects and saved by Hughes. Another opportunity is blocked. How did he see that off the deflection? Still alive, glance forward and wide. Offside flag came up in the end. Have to get another look. How did Hughes keep that first try out? Looked like the shot came from Maldonado. There's the header from Maldonado and the offside call against Lopez. But the save Hughes made, outstanding. Maldonado took the shot. It might have ricocheted off a defender on the way through. Hughes changed his course, kept it out. A sigh of relief from everybody in black and white. Hughes made his Panamanian debut in a friendly back in June. A reward for his terrific club play of late. Foul coming out the other way. Hughes has made 60 appearances in all competitions now for Tauro. 30 of those have been clean sheets. So half the time, he's keeping a 0 on the scoreboard. Whoever manages to come through this tonight will likely, very likely, be meeting Olympia in the semifinal. They have a 4-0 aggregate lead on Dirianjen, and they are home in the second leg tomorrow night. If Olympia one-time champions and perennial powerhouses in this tournament, were to blow a 4-0 lead at home in the second leg, well, that would be one of the biggest stories of all time in CONCACAF competition, and would give Didi Anhen one of the best results of all time in this competition. So for all intents and purposes, Tauro and Motagua playing for the right to face Olympia in the semifinal. I think a lot of people might be rooting for Motagua in that case. Super Classico could be on the horizon with Olympia, the two Honduran foes. Santos not on the same page as Juan Delgado was also calling in the end for Eddie Hernandez to check. Some frustration perhaps from Motagua mounting. Camargo. Boteo patient, wide for Gutierrez, inside for Godinho. A half-hearted attempt from Tauro. The result of that build-up. Now a quick rollout from Rougier. Good step defensively by Asprilla. Half an hour gone, scoreless here between Tauro and Motagua in the second leg of their quarterfinal tie here in the 2022 Scotiabank Concacaf League. They were scoreless after 90 last week. If we have the same result tonight, we would go to penalties. A scoreless draw is the only one that would produce penalties. Any other draw would see Motagua through on away goals. Remember, more than just a spot in the semifinals on the line. Also a ticket to the upcoming Champions League. All 4 semifinalists get through, as well as the next 2 best finishers in the table. Right now it's Tauro sitting in 6th place. So pending some other results, 2 more matches to be played tomorrow. Even if Tauro do not go through, they would have a chance at making it through the Champions League. Those scenarios will become much clearer at the end of tonight. Delgado threads it forward. Opportunity brewing, nobody making that darting back post run. Hernandez came near post. Lopez went to the penalty spot, and the ball went harmlessly through. Didi Anhen and Herediano sitting in 7th and 8th place respectively. They're the ones that would have a lot of work to do tomorrow night, not only in their ties, but in order to get into Champions League, maybe sneaking into 6th place, depending on what Tauro does tonight. Herediano is going home, facing a 3-1 deficit against Real España. Didi Anhen going on the road with a 4-0 deficit against Olympia. Foul committed by an overeager Ivan Lopez. Decas. Martinez shields it out. Pereira looking over the top. Gutierrez knocks it away. Regathered by Rodriguez. Martinez. Up the wing. It's Santos. Drives it centrally. And again for Motagua, they get into the attacking third. Unable to find that next piece of the puzzle. Another heavy challenge here by Juan Delgado. Ernesto Sinclair rolling on the ground. Already seen one yellow card issued on the Motagua side to Danilo Maldonado. Looks like Jose Torres will keep it in his pocket this time around. Ten to play here in the first half. Much of the control still lies with Motagua. 65% of the possession, same number it was a week ago. Shooting Tauro 5-2 at the moment. Well read by Castellanos. Wins it back centrally for the visitors. Rodriguez pushes it too far out in front of Delgado. Who is going to blink first? Through 127 minutes of play between last week and tonight, not a goal scored between Tauro or Motagua. This is when you start to get the sense that it's either going to take something catastrophic on the back end to give away a goal or something outstanding on the offensive end in order to find one. Two teams as deadlocked as you can be. Every passing moment where neither side gives an inch feels more and more like penalties could be in the cards tonight. We have seen penalties just once so far this year in this tournament. It was between Herediano and Pacific in the round of 16. Herediano advanced on penalties. Martinez for Pereira. Now Santos. Back for the captain. Pereira once more. Decas. Tauro allowing nothing through the lines, forcing everything back and out wide. Martinez lays it off. Now Castellanos. Delgado, flag stays down. Met by Gutierrez, and Gutierrez wins it. Well defended. Gets it ahead to Valencia. Valencia's touch leads him astray and right back to the possession of Motagua. Tauro coming off a loss over the weekend against Independiente. Motagua, a 2-1 win over Victoria. Those both on Sunday, so both teams on the same number of days rested since last out on the field, 3 days each. Valencia. No real trouble once more for Rougier. Has seen 3 shots, 2 harmlessly on target that he gathered easily, and 1 more dangerous just wide from Ernesto Sinclair. The best chance of the evening for Tauro. Hernandez leaves it. Shot blocked. Decas sends one long, and it's won by Valencia. Right back to Motagua. Castellanos to Hernandez. Took a deflection off of Vargas. Eric Hughes, the keeper, wise to it. Made sure to keep it in play. Camargo. Now Asprilla. Asprilla calling for it out wide and gets it. 3 targets near the penalty spot. Goes back to Gutierrez. With the numbers they had forward there, you'd like something better in the service for Tauro instead of a shot settled from that distance by Orlando Botello. Spent 4 years with Tauro before he left last year for a year in Venezuela. Rejoined Tauro here in January. Recently called into a June friendly where he appeared, earned his 9th cap for Panama. Couple of moments remaining before halftime. Is there anything left in this first half between these sides? Early on, the game had a rhythm. Back and forth it went. 7 shots between the two teams early. And then the match hit a lull. And in the doldrums, neither side able to muster up any shots, any opportunities of real danger. Settled back on the cagey rhythm we saw last week in the scoreless draw. Cunningham thrusts it forward for Asprilla. Again, when it's tight like this, it's usually either a moment of brilliance offensively or a disaster defensively that yields the first and perhaps only goal. Neither side is given an inch defensively. So you're almost led to believe that it'll be a moment of brilliance, which is fun as a spectator. And that's if that moment comes at all. Remember, 0-0 would knock us straight through to penalties. That is very much a possibility. After last week's scoreless draw, we're nearly through 3 halves of play between these two clubs without a goal. Three minutes tacked on to half number 1. Gutierrez for Boteo. Gudinho. Wide for Cunningham. Cunningham looking for Camargo. Glances it toward the far post. There wasn't really much there in the attack for Tauro, but the ball caught the back line by surprise. And Sinclair didn't miss it by much. Had Rougier sprawling to the far post. But a good couple of feet wide in the end. The 2 best chances of the evening for Tauro belonged to Sinclair, and both went just wide of that left post. Taken by Lopez. This looks menacing. Lopez goes down, still with it. As quickly as it seemed something might be on, it's taken right back by Tauro. For Santos. Now Delgado. Into Castellanos. Castellanos for Delgado. Hernandez knocks it through. Here's Martinez over the top. Martinez. Now settled again by Delgado. Delgado tries his luck, but it's blocked. Sinclair. Cunningham bending his run, ball too far out in front. Tauro have walked the possession advantage down a bit to 60% in Motagua's favor. It was up near 70 and 65 for much of the first half. 5 shots apiece here in half number 1. Very even in just about all facets, most importantly on the scoreboard. It was scoreless last week. It's scoreless tonight through 45. Is there anything to separate these teams before we have to go to penalties? That's what looms if we have another 45 minutes scoreless here in the second leg of the quarterfinal tie between Tauro and Motagua in the 2022 Scotiabank Concacaf League. More to come from Estadio Universitario here in Panama. Players retaking the field at Estadio Universitario here in Panama. Second leg of the quarterfinal between Tauro FC of Panama and FC Motagua of Honduras. They were scoreless after 90 last week in Honduras. They're scoreless after 45 tonight here in Panama. If they're scoreless after 45 more, we would go straight to penalties to decide which of these two teams goes to the semifinal to likely meet Olympia, who have a 4-0 lead going into tomorrow night's second leg at home against Dirian, and they won 4-0 on the road against the side from Nicaragua. So 45 minutes to decide Olympia's likely opponent. Will it be Motagua or Tauro? No changes from either side during the break. Tauro from right to left in the black and white. Motagua from left to right in the blue. These teams faced off in the semifinal in 2018. Motagua made it through and sent Tauro packing. Will we have revenge tonight served 4 years late? Or will Motagua make yet another semifinal run? They've been to 3 finals in the history of Concacaf League. They've lost all 3, but they've made 3. And have always been right there. If they're going to have another crack at it, one final crack at it here in the last ever edition of this tournament, they'll have to find a way through on the road tonight, whether that means a goal in this half or penalties. Our official Jose Torres sets the watch, waits for the signal. And we're underway in half number 2. All to play for on both sides. A scoreless finish would send us to penalties. Any other tie would send Motagua through on away goals. And of course, if either side comes away with a victory, that side is going through. Looks very likely that Motagua, regardless of whether or not they go through to the semifinal, will take one of the 6 tickets into Champions League. Tauro, with a loss or a draw, could still find their way in. It would be contingent upon tomorrow night's results between Herediano and Real España, and then Dirian against Olympia. But your easiest way through the Champions League is getting through to the semifinal and coming away with the positive result tonight. Only 1 yellow card lingering from the first half. Danilo Maldonado on the Motagua side. Here's Gutierrez. In the rain now here in Penonome. Sinclair, a no-look pass ahead for Valencia. Valencia wins a corner. Traveling supporters of Motagua down at this end in this corner looking on. Third corner of the match for Tauro. 4 in the first half for Motagua, unable to capitalize on any. Driven to the back post, a bit too much on it. There wasn't much that could be done in the end by Sinclair. Had to backpedal just to try to get anything on that. Really well struck off the corner. Perhaps too well struck. Take a little bit off of that, and maybe he has a chance to head that one home at the back post. Chested down by Delgado. Delgado going right at the defender, Godinho, who wins it. Here's Gutierrez. Valencia was waiting for it. It never got there. Well read defensively by Raul Santos. Much of the attack for Tauro has come down their left wing, whether in the first half or so far here in the second half, which has made Raul Santos a very busy man. He had one slip up in the first half that led to a chance for Miguel Camargo. Outside of that one mishap, he has been terrific at right back for Motagua. Hernandez with it again. It goes Tauro's way, and some shoving after the play. Rodriguez getting into it with Gustavo Chara. Camargo taken down, and now the whistle blows. It's been a very chippy, physical start to this second half, some extracurriculars as well. Valencia ahead for Camargo. Pereira defends well, stays in, last off of Camargo. Now Gutierrez. Camargo leaves it for Valencia, and he's called for the foul. Camargo might have gotten the worst of it, however. Ooh. No intent from Pereira. He was going in for the ball. Camargo touched it aside. Stud straight down onto the ankle. Very dangerous. Unintentional. Pereira showing concern. Looking to help Camargo up. It's one of those where by the book, it could very well be a red card. Studs up right onto the ankle, but by no means was there any malicious intent. It was a quick move by Camargo, trying to turn it into space. And with that quick maneuver, ball was gone. Pereira only found the leg. And we play on. Camargo's good to go. Pereira and Camargo made up, and we're on our way. 7 minutes into the second half, still scoreless between Tauro and Motagua. Without a change in the scoreline, we would head to penalties. Hernandez is clipped. Free kick on the way for Motagua. Touched it by Boteo. Easy call for Jose Torres. They've had 4 corners, unable to do anything with those. Although one yielded a good opportunity off of a deflection. Big save was made by Eric Hughes. Can Motagua do anything with their first real free kick of the match? First free kick in the attacking third, I should say. Martinez and Rodriguez stand over it. It'll be Rodriguez serving it up toward the back post over everybody. Maldonado might have misread the ball flight as well. Took a couple of steps inward, then realized it was moving. Looks like Motagua is readying their first change of the match as well. Some players stirring on the bench. Delgado. Santos ahead for Castellanos. Another corner for Motagua coming. Their first of the second half. Their fifth of the match. Taken quickly. Sent toward the back post, headed away. It was Vargas who got there and now sent further away by Valencia. Jesse Moncada, Carlos Mejia, the two getting ready to check in from Motagua. Receiving final instructions from Herman Medina. And now a free kick for Tauro. Right there, the foul. Ten minutes gone here in the second half. No change in the scoreline. Back for Santos. Delgado drives it in. Hernandez, his header is over the bar. Head in hands afterwards. Knew that was an opportunity gone by the wayside. Opportunities have been hard to come by for either side in this one. It might take just one, but that's not the one. Delgado coming off as Moncada comes on. The 32-year-old makes his second appearance in this year's edition of Concacaf League. Had 4 appearances last year. And it's Martinez coming off for Mejia. Carlos Mejia subbed into the first leg in the 55th minute, so right around the same mark here. Was also used as a sub in the first leg against Cibao in the round of 16, scored the lone goal in the 1-0 victory. So could Mejia have the same impact tonight? Set Mejia's way. And out for a goal kick. Founded back in 2017. CONCACAF League as the secondary tournament, the Champions League, now in its final year. Has featured 22 teams in each edition since 2019 after just 16 teams each in the first 2 editions. A tournament largely dominated by Costa Rican and Honduran sides. Olympia of Honduras won the inaugural edition back in 2017. They are very likely on the way to the semifinal. A 4-0 lead on aggregate over Dirianhen going into tomorrow's matchup, which is at home. They won 4-0 on the road. They're looking to bookend the history of this tournament with a pair of titles. Whoever comes through this tie between Tauro and Motagua will face Olympia. Barring some historic comeback tomorrow by Dirianhen, that is. Foul from behind here by Sinclair. No need for that. Motagua, no strangers to making the final in this tournament. Made it there in 2018, 19, and 2021. Fell to Herediano in 18, Saprissa in 19, and Comunicaciones last year. Comunicaciones, the first team not from either Costa Rica or Honduras to make a final. And after making it, they won it 6-3 on aggregate over Motagua. All 4 semifinalists plus the next 2 best quarterfinalists make it through to next Champions League. Sent through here, a save made by Rougier. I don't know how much he knew about it. A deflection from point-blank range. Most dangerous threat of the night from Tauro. Great positioning from the 34-year-old goalkeeper. About a warning shot perhaps at the hour mark from Tauro. Motagua the other way. Santos. Mejia. Moncada, his first meaningful touches and subbing in. Hernandez. Dangerous low ball in. Sinclair with the contact on the ball. I think Rougier got this with his face, yes. He turned away. Got it with the face. Goalkeeping coaches teach that to their goalkeepers. It's called a 5-point save. Both arms, both legs, and your head are the 5 points. Meet the ball with one of those points, keep it out of the net. You least prefer to do it with your face. It's the most painful, but still effective. And Rougier's face is the reason it's still scoreless. Hernandez back for Mejia. And Mejia commits the foul. On a night where most shots have come from a distance, and most of those have been off target. That chance from Sinclair, by far the best from either side. Valencia will exit. Victor Medina checks in. Medina started the first leg, played 67 minutes. 21-year-old now called upon to make a difference late. Had 2 appearances and a start in the round of 16 against San Miguelito. This is just his 4th ever CONCACAF League appearance. He's made 85 pro appearances, 49 of those with Tauro, has 7 goals for the club. Can he be the spark they need off the bench? He's bounced around quite a bit as well for a 21-year-old. Debuted with Universitario in 2019, spent a year with the club, then joined Tauro last August, or pardon me, 2 Augusts ago. Stayed with the club until last December. Left for some time with Saprissa before coming back once again to Tauro. And now Medina, the 21-year-old, called upon to make a difference in the final half hour. Gustavo Chara commits the foul. Free kick from distance here from Motagua. Jesse Moncada stands over it with Diego Rodriguez as a left-footed option. It is Rodriguez sending it in toward the far post. Not a bad idea from Motagua. All the attention paid to the other side of the box where the cluster of players were. They sent it instead of the far side where there was one guy lurking, entering through the back door in Daniel Maldonado. It was just over his head. In fact, he might have overrun it a little bit. Motagua maintains its control over the possession. 64-36, an identical mark to their meeting last week in Honduras. But on that night, Motagua was able to do much more with it offensively. 17 shots recorded last week. A much different story tonight. Just 5 shots from Motagua. And now the concern is to the injured player, Tauro. Godinho made contact with his left leg. And he reached down and he grabbed the right leg. Almost looked like a non-contact muscle pull, or working on his thigh. That's a player you hope can continue for Tauro. So important, instrumental to what they do in the midfield. 21 years of age, debuted for the club in 2019. Spent a year in Spain with Marbella. 21 appearances in the lower divisions of Spain before he rejoined Tauro last July. Tonight, his 62nd appearance for the club. 3 caps for Panama as well. Most recently, a January friendly for the 21-year-old. It looks like he wants to come right back in, looking for the gaze of the referee, Jose Torres. They lock eyes, he waves him on, and it's back to 11 on 11. "25 minutes remaining. If there is no change in the scoreline, we go to penalties." These teams met to a scoreless draw last week in Honduras, on the precipice of another. A spot in the semifinal on the line, a guaranteed spot in the next edition of CONCACAF Champions League on the line, though both teams could still get there regardless of tonight's outcome. 4 semifinalists plus the next 2 best quarterfinalists go through. Motagua well positioned regardless of tonight's result to punch that Champions League ticket. Tauro not as well positioned. They might have to hold their breath a little bit going into tomorrow night if they don't come away with a win tonight. Mauro Ortiz getting ready to check in next for Motagua. It'll be for Diego Rodriguez. Ortiz started the first leg, played about an hour before he subbed out. So tonight in the inverse role, subbing in for the final 20 minutes or so. Handed out by Maldonado for a corner. Not taking any chances, but with what was behind him, didn't necessarily have to do that. Rougier might have been able to handle it. Camargo out to take the corner. Camargo doesn't get it by the first man, but he might have been within 10 yards. Is this a handball being called by the assistant referee or infringement on the 10 yards? It seems like our official, Jose Torres, is going over for a quick word to figure that out. And it looks like the verdict is it was a handball against Moncada. Could have really gotten him for either of those 2 infractions. This turns it into a shorter and better angles corner for Tauro. Two-man wall includes Moncada and Mauro Ortiz. from the free kick, sent it toward the back post. Way too much on that one. Nothing Sergio Cunningham could do about it. Couple of set pieces gone by the wayside there for Tauro. First the corner, then the free kick. Santos. Here's Medina. Haven't called his name much since he subbed in. Taken down by Santos on the wing. Finds the ball again, but foul called against Tauro. Camargo, the guilty party. It's been a physical game, 22 fouls between the teams. Nothing has crossed any line. Only one yellow card issued despite the 22 total fouls. Belongs to Danilo Maldonado. It's been a clean, hotly contested game between these two teams with so much on the line tonight. Good step by Gutierrez to win it back for Tauro. Camargo for Gutierrez. Tried to win the corner with the back heel off of the defender. Boteo. Played ahead for Moncada, promising attack for Motagua, blocked by Asprilla. Moncada. Well done by Gustavo Chara to clear it before it was out for a corner. A couple of players down back behind the play for Tauro. Two more changes being readied now for Tauro. Humberto Peralta, one of them, and the other is Edwin Aguilar. Edwin Aguilar, when these teams met here in 2018, the first leg of their meeting in the semifinal, it was Aguilar who scored the brace in Tauro's 2-1 victory. They went on the road then and lost 2-0 against Motagua the following week, and Motagua went to the final. But could they be hoping for similar success now 4 years later by a now 37-year-old Edwin Aguilar? Still some goals in those legs yet. 27 goals for this club. Has made 7 appearances in the Clausura phase so far. Hasn't scored yet. Did not play in the first leg of this tie, but he started the first leg against San Miguelito. And he will make his way into the game. Peralta comes in for Godinho. And it's Aguilar for Sinclair. Right off the subs, a glancing header on. It is stopped by Hughes. Two changes now coming the other way from Motagua. Angel Tejeda is the player who missed the penalty in the 84th minute last week. Looming large still. Also Roberto Morera. Morera coming in for Eddie Hernandez. And it's Ivan Lopez out for Angel Tejeda. A change of the strikers for Motagua. Fresh legs up top, hoping to end this one in 90 and not have to deal with the nerves of penalties. Quarter of an hour remains at Estadio Universitario here in Peronomé, Panama. Joe Malfa with you for tonight's action in the quarterfinal second leg between Tauro and Motagua here in the 2022 Scotiabank Concacaf League. Tejeda again missed that penalty with 7 minutes to go last week. Would have painted a much different picture for tonight with Motagua up 1-0. Laid off by Camargo. Aguilar lurking, sent toward the back post, and it curls out for a goal kick. This was actually the first match in this tournament that Angel Tejeda did not start for Motagua. Started both matches of the round of 16, had a goal in the first and assist in the second. Has 2 goals in 3 matches so far in the Apertura phase. Gutierrez. Not the best service he's had tonight. He's had a few good ones. Lays it off this time. Boteo goes wide to Luis Asprilla. Now Gustavo Chara. Back for Asprilla. Played in toward Aguilar. Sent in again. Nobody making that back post run. Gutierrez sends it right back where it came from, the header wide. Sergio Cunningham rose to meet it. On the previous ball, where nobody was making that back post run, that's happened a few times tonight for Tauro, where somebody has come to the front post or toward the penalty spot, and the ball went to the back post. Maybe one time, somebody would run far post and near post, and the ball would split the difference and go to the penalty spot. It's been just off the calibration in the final third. 6 shots apiece. 2 on target for Tauro, 3 on target for Motagua. Possession 60-40 in Motagua's favor. Very little separating these teams. On the scoreboard, nothing separating them. They have played now nearly 2 full matches. We're a dozen minutes away. No goal has been produced. If it stays that way, to penalties we will go. Tauro have not been involved in a penalty shootout in this tournament. Motagua have been in 3. Twice the winners, once the losers. If we get there. Tejeda lets it fly. It was his missed penalty last week that still has us scoreless on aggregate. Sure, he would like to make amends, whether it's with a goal in these final 10 minutes or with a conversion in penalties. Erase the memory of last week's miss. Sent skyward by Hughes. Ends up at the feet of Medina. Medina has some help. Cuts in, Medina lays it off. Options in the middle for Tauro. At the end line, driven in, saved by Rougier. Peralta went for a goal from a tough angle. Did so despite having options in the middle, but it looked like he caught Rougier by surprise. So in the end, might not have been the worst decision. Rougier had to fight it off. Mejia looking long over the top, and Hughes is there. Vargas, sloppy. Have to imagine the legs are heavy. Both of these teams just played on Sunday in their domestic leagues. After playing each other, of course, in the midweek in the first leg the previous week, and on the weekend the previous weekend in domestic play. It's been every second or third day for these clubs over the last couple of weeks that they've been playing. Overlap coming from Cunningham. Boteo clips it ahead toward Aguilar. And the flag came up. Ever since Aguilar subbed into this match, they've made it a concerted effort to look to him over the top, use his height, use his aerial prowess, and use his goal-scoring abilities. 27 goals for the club in 85 appearances. 37-year-old seasoned goal scorer. Has done it for club and country. 7 goals in 30 appearances for Panama. A look at that last chance there from Peralta. Tough to tell whether he was going for goal or the cross. From that angle, looks like he was going for the cross, and Rougier had to battle it. Too close for comfort at his near post. 7 to play, plus whatever stoppage time has in store. No change in the score line would bring us to penalties. Through the preliminary round and round of 16, and so far in the quarterfinals, we've seen just one tie go to penalties. It was Herediano and Pacific in the round of 16. Improbable that we would go to penalties in either of tomorrow's fixtures. So this could be the only one in the quarterfinal that has that drama attached to it. Good move by Peralta. Up the wing, advantage play by Torres. And well done in the end to clip it off of Wesley Decas out for a corner. When you have a tight matchup like this, you have to rely on set pieces to come up with something. Is this the moment for Tauro? Driven in, slapped away by Rougier. Medina with space. Medina lets it fly, but wide. A wince, a grimace on his face. Knows he missed an opportunity. Again, opportunities very hard to come by in this matchup. Very tightly contested. He found a couple of yards of space, got the shot off, but put it a couple of yards wide. The fresh-faced 21-year-old Victor Medina could have had a signature moment for the club there. Draws the foul. Tauro have made 3 subs so far. 5 have been made by Motagua. So the home side can still make a couple more if they would like. Gutierrez sends it in. Nothing doing there on the set piece for Tauro. Well defended again by Motagua. Ortiz. Morera looks for the switch. Puts it on a platter on the left side for his teammate. Moncada unable to do anything with it. Now it's Cunningham the other way for Tauro. Moncada defends it successfully. Knocks it back the other way where Chara is there. This fixture has felt like penalties for much of the night. A very different 0-0 so far than it was last week, when Motagua outshot Tauro 17-2 and had that penalty missed in the 84th minute. Tonight it's been pretty even. Chances few and far between. 16 total shots between the clubs, split 9-7 in Tauro's favor. Neither side with any real dangerous opportunities. Only the one sticks out for Tauro. Maybe one here from Motagua at the back post. The header sails. But only that one real dangerous chance for Tauro on that driven ball in. You had Ernesto Sinclair from about 7 yards out, point blank range. His redirected shot saved by the face of Jonathan Rougier. Tonight really the only opportunity that sticks out of any significant danger for either side. Everything else has been from a distance for the most part. Has either been a routine save for either keeper or missed the target altogether. 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time for that storyline to change, but it's been persistent throughout the evening, and it's been persistent over the last week. 178 minutes now played between these clubs. 178 goalless minutes. Foul in transition. Should be a yellow card against Peralta. It will be. Not much of a protest. A thumbs up, a nod. Knows what he did. Probably the right move. Don't want to get caught out in transition now. You've made it so close to the finish line. You'd have to perceive Tauro as the underdogs in this grouping, though they won't look at it that way. Motagua, 3 times finalists, made it to the final last year. For Tauro, penalties might feel like a victory if they can even get it there. Try your luck in kicks from the mark. 90th minute. Moncada directing traffic. Continues his run. It's back for Mejia. All the way across for Santos, who lofts it over the top. Kept alive here for Motagua. Clock reads 90. 3 minutes added on. 200 minutes just about is where we'll end up. 183. So almost 200 minutes between these clubs, scoreless. Cleared. Regathered by Motagua, sent over the top for Tejeda. He was looking for it over his shoulder. It was a difficult finish if he was going to have a chance at it. The way he had to contort and look for the ball. 90 seconds remaining of the 3 minutes given. All whipped in and headed away. Heavy collision, edge of the area. Play continues. Moncada clips it ahead. Back post, just out of the reach of a sliding Daniel Maldonado. Final minute now of stoppage time. One more sub from Tauro. You wonder if it's to get an extra penalty taker out there at this juncture of the match. Richard Rodriguez coming in for Sergio Cunningham. Not much he can do with just about 60 seconds. But again, could be very much a penalty-oriented substitution by Tauro. Keep that in the back of your mind if Richard Rodriguez steps up to take one of them. Motagua used all 5 of their changes. Tauro had 2 in the back pocket, perhaps precisely for that reason. Here is Rodriguez. Maybe with one chance to impact this game from the run of play. Tejeda lets it run by. Tejeda lost it. Vargas took it away. Looks long the other way. One final chance for Tauro. Slip through to Aguilar. Taken away by Pereira. Peralta's hit is blocked. Maldonado heads it away. There's your full-time whistle. We are headed to penalties at Estadio Universitario. 90 minutes scoreless last week. 90 minutes scoreless tonight. We will need penalties. Either Motagua or Tauro go through to the semifinal, where they will likely meet Olimpia of Honduras, who are up 4-0 on aggregate over Dirianhen, going into tomorrow's second leg at home. So for all intents and purposes, you can pencil Olimpia in. Will it be Tauro or Motagua? Will it be the Panamanian hosts? Or will it be Motagua, who have 3 times made it to the final of this tournament? 3 times they've lost it. Not better to have been there and had a shot at it than to have not been there at all. And if they want to make it to a 4th and keep that hope alive, they're gonna have to get through penalties here. It could set up a Super Clasico between 2 big rivals in Honduras, Motagua and Olimpia, if they find a way through here. Now for the managers, you think back to the training ground You think about the mentality of your players, who are the worthy takers. You submit the list, and then you're helpless. All you can do is sit back and watch. Hope your guys do their job. Maybe your keeper comes up with a stop. Hope the other guys fail at their jobs. Put it over the bar, put it wide. Do something. Tauro qualified as the 2021 Clausura champions in Panama, 16 league titles. It was their 10th since the turn of the millennium. That put them here in this year's tournament. Their 4th time in CONCACAF League. Their best finish was a semifinal in 2018 when they were eliminated by this Motagua team. Tauro won 2-1 in the first leg at home, lost 2-0 on the road in the second leg. Tauro have never been in penalties in this tournament. Motagua have 3 times. They've won twice, lost once. And they were a part of that memorable one against Comunicaciones in the 2020 preliminary round that they won 15-14 Motagua. Buckle up if we're in store for something like that again tonight. But they lost their last one, 4-2 against Real Esteli in the playoff game last year. Captains meeting for the coin toss to decide the end of the field. Who kicks first? On one end, you have the bleachers that contain the Motagua traveling supporters. That would be at the left end, which was the end of the field Jose Torres was pointing to. On the other end, the black of the night, and a net separating the stadium from the wilderness. So we'll see which end they do kick at. As mentioned, Torres pointed at the end with the bleachers, so he could see the fans filtering in behind the goal. That was the end of the stadium where Motagua's traveling fans were. A spot in the semifinal on the line. Keep in the back of your mind, Tauro earns a point with the draw through 90. It moves them to 6 points. So if they fail to win this shootout, they would have to sit tight and watch tomorrow night, hoping that Diriangen does not beat Olympia. Whether or not they go through Diriangen, just beating Olympia, forget about the aggregate. Just beating Olympia would put Diriangen above Tauro in points and would put Diriangen into that 6th spot for that final ticket into the next Champions League. Though Tauro would much rather just take care of business here, of course. Find a spot in the semifinal and one of those 4 automatic spots into Champions League. Such a difficult spot to be as a goalkeeper. All eyes on you. You're inherently at a disadvantage, of course. A lot more penalties converted or missed altogether than are saved. Hope to guess the right way, pick up on the kicker's tendencies, and be the hero for your team. Eric Hughes on the Tauro side. Jonathan Rougier on the Motagua side. And it looks like the first player stepping up to the ball is Roberto Morera. Morera subbed into this game. Later stages of the second half, 35-year-old from Paraguay. Final instructions from Jose Torres to the goalkeepers. So much respect shared between goalkeepers once you get to this stage of the match. Only two people in the building know what the other is going through, and it's those two. Moneda positions it, and we're ready to go here in the shootout. Motagua will shoot first, Tauro second, and shooting at the end that features the Motagua fan section just off the screen to your left. Moneda gets us going. Moneda tucks it away calmly. Always so much made about, would you rather go first and put the pressure on the opposing side, or would you rather go second so you know what needs to be done? I've always personally enjoyed going first, put the pressure on the opposition, and that's exactly what Moneda did. Now up steps Edwin Aguilar. When these teams met in 2018, he scored twice in their 2-1 victory, Tauro, here on this field at home. Did not play in the first leg. This is his 9th appearance in this tournament. 6 goals from the run of play. Can he convert, though, now in the shootout? Aguilar tucks it away. 1-1 through 1. Calmly taken by two veterans. The 35-year-old on the other side, Moneda. The 37-year-old Aguilar here. Both handling the moment as calmly as you'd expect. Players of that age, of that experience. Pressure pivots back to Motagua. And an even greater sense of pressure on this man. Angel Tejeda hit the post on his penalty in the 84th minute of the first leg last week. Hindsight 2020, had he converted, we wouldn't be here right now. But here we are. From the spot again, Tejeda scores this time. Makes amends for last week's miss. And puts Motagua back on top. Made no mistake about this one, drilled it. Hughes guessed the wrong way. Had he guessed the right way, probably still would have been the same result. Now here's Jorge Gutierrez, had a terrific game at left back, very active for Tauro. The 24-year-old in his 6th year with the club. Spent his first 5 years from 2015 to 2020 before a year in Spain in the lower divisions with UD Melilla. Returned last July. Tonight making his 139th appearance with Tauro. Left-footed player, positions it. 3 caps in his international career with Panama. 2 of them came in World Cup qualifiers earlier this year. Here is Gutierrez against Ruggier. Gutierrez scores down the middle. 2-2. Opened up the hip like he was going to his left. Cut the foot back at the last moment after he sent the keeper the wrong way. Well taken by the 24-year-old. It's always interesting when a center back steps up for a penalty. Here is Wesley Decas. He's got a bit of a limp in his step. He picked up a knock in the first half, soldiered on the rest of the way. And now it's his turn. 23-year-old, 5 caps for Honduras. Decas, a slow approach. Well taken, points to the fans behind the goal. Anybody can be a penalty specialist. It's just always interesting when a center back steps up. So rare that they find themselves in that portion of the field, but it's different when the ball is positioned 12 yards out on a painted white spot. And now it's Rolando Botello. Has started every match of this tournament so far for Tauro. 159 appearances with the club after tonight, wearing that captain's armband. Boteo against Rougier. Boteo calmly puts it away. Every single penalty has been just like that, with the lone exception of Tejeda's. Tejeda drilled it near upper 90. All the others have been calmly rolled in after sending the keeper the wrong way. Every player has picked his spot and hit it. And we are 3-3 through 3 rounds. Which side is going to blink first? 180 minutes over 2 games, scoreless. And after not hitting the goal through those 180 minutes, through 6 penalties, every single one has hit the goal. It's the right back, Raul Santos. Santos drills it just under the bar. 4-3 Motagua. Pressure again on Tauro. A miss here from Tauro would give Motagua 2 chances in the 5th round. Either scoring in the top half or making the stop in the bottom half. They've run out of real estate with which to rectify any miss here, Tauro. So it's up to Miguel Camargo to convert. Otherwise, it's an uphill battle in the 5th round. Camargo finishes. Freezes the keeper, Rougier, who watched it ripple the net. Well, both teams perfect through 4 rounds. That means it's time for sudden death. Here we go. Tauro have just once been to a semifinal in this tournament, where they were eliminated by Motagua. Motagua have 3 times been in the final, lost all 3, but still perennially a team in the equation to make a title run. In the last ever edition of this tournament, if they want one more sniff at the title, they have to get through penalties here. And it's Jesse Moncada stepping up and converting. 5 for 5 Motagua. Tauro must also make it 5 for 5 in order to keep this one going. Perfect on their first 4, but those don't matter anymore. All that matters now is each individual one taken from here on out. Some words shared, well, not really shared, more spat at by Moncada. 4. Who else but Richard Rodriguez? Pointed him out, 92nd minute. He subbed on with less than a minute to play in the match. Clearly a penalty-minded substitute for Tauro. Will he do his job, or is that it? Rodriguez, save made by Rougier. Motagua through. He was subbed in the final minute of play for that purpose alone. In the end, he fluffed his lines. Rougier guessed right, made the stop. Motagua celebrates on the road here against Tauro. Brings their record to 3-1 all-time in penalty shootouts in this tournament. Rougier made the stop. Motagua marches on. And we have probably what a lot of fans were hoping for. Olympia is up 4-0 on aggregate over Dirianhen going into tomorrow's 2nd leg at home. Barring a historic comeback by Dirianhen, it'll be Olympia on one side, and it will be Motagua on the other. We know that now. So it could be a Super Classico between 2 of Honduras' best teams in the semifinal of this tournament. But here in the quarterfinal, it is Motagua who goes through in penalties over Tauro. A hotly contested 90 minutes between these 2 sides. We needed kicks from the mark to decide it, and Rougier made the stop in the end. Fans held their breath for a long time here at Estadio Universitario, the home stadium of Tauro. They were hoping for a celebration tonight. Instead, the loyal traveling contingent of Motagua fans greeted warmly by the players. they will have a semifinal. And one more crack, perhaps, at lifting this trophy. 3 times the runners-up, 18, 19, and 21. That does it for us tonight from Panama. Tauro falls to Motagua in penalties in the quarterfinal of the 2022 Scotiabank Concacaf League. For the crew that makes this possible, I'm Joe Malva saying good night from Panama.